How are you?
Hi, everybody. How are you today?
What's up, everybody?
Woo! If you're on my members only, you know that I called the Arizona Department of Corrections earlier today, and she said she would get back with me. I thought that was going to be a couple days. No, she got back with me, and we went over Shaun Attwood's prison records. He did go to prison. That's a good thing. Lots of inconsistencies. I mean, that's a good thing for me. I don't know how he feels about it. But so we got a lot to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about Jay-Z being forced to take the DNA test because the guy that says that he's Jay-Z's son, who's in his 30s, he's not stopping. We're going to go over the Shaun Attwood records. We're going to talk about deep fake videos. So we kind of mentioned this in Bishop TD Jake's videos. You've guys seen these videos? Hi, Star Guy. Hey, how you doing? Those are those videos that you see people like this or like this, and they've got like pictures of Diddy kissing another man. They have been dominating the internet, and so YouTube's getting ready to shut those channels down. We're going to talk about that. They're called deep fake videos. We're also going to talk about Jaguar Wright and Toure. He's a real journalist. He works for CNN. He's been on MSNBC. He's a real journalist, and he's going to explain how Jaguar has really ruined her reputation with mainstream America, okay? So it's a lot going on. Before we get into all of that, I just wanted to say this. I've been running a channel now for 7 years. The first 2 years was by myself. The additional 5 years were with Perry, and I want to thank Perry for being my co-host, because this is not an easy job. It's not an easy job. And I don't know, when Storm Monroe came on, I said, I don't really like beefs because they're draining. Thank you, Valentine. You guys don't have to. You're so sweet. Thank you. 18 months, 20 months with Star Guy, 18 months with Valentine. What was I saying? This can be a stressful job, but this is my channel, me and Perry, and we run it our way. Though I don't fight anybody's battles. That's when I had a headache, because I would be on people's channel and they would say something, and I didn't realize till the Armand thing, that even if I'm sitting on a panel and somebody's talking trash about another blogger, they're going to automatically assume that I feel that way too. I used to do that. I used to be on panels where they would just say crazy shit about Armand. I didn't know anything about Armand. I didn't feel that way about Armand. That's when I said, I'm not going on anybody else's channel. This is going to be me and Perry's channel only. And I run it my way. I bring on who I want to bring on. You don't tell me shit. And if you have a problem with that, then exit your way out the building. I don't have no enemies. I don't want no enemies. I do things the right way, because if you become a crook, it's temporary. It's temporary. You always get caught. I'm not a liar. And I don't go around starting trouble with people for no reason. Your problem and your enemy is your problem with your enemies. I'm not fighting anybody else's battles, period. So if you got a problem with somebody, you better garner up some strength and handle that your damn self. I'm too old for that. I look like I'm in high school. Like, please, I try. And if I have a problem with somebody, we call, talk about it, squash it. That's it. If I want to forgive somebody, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm not fighting nobody's battles. Don't call me about Armand. Don't call me about Storm. Nobody else's battle. I take on Jaguar Wright because I know she's crooked. That's what I feel like doing. This is my damn channel. I run it my way. And if you got a problem with that, then kick rocks.
No. You said that very well. Look, the bottom line is this, Sherelle, and that's what you should do. Like, we can come on here. This is a job. We make income from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't no social club. Now, it's okay to communicate with people, do whatever, but at the end of the day, we're here to just be fair. We don't want to beef with nobody. It's not even worth it to beef. So if you got a beef going on and all this, that's your issue. Like, we trying to stay away from that and be fair. People do change. We have given people plenty of chances before, and they came back and did fine. That we had issues with a lot of people, but it's our choice to make, not yours or anybody else's. And whether it's a gamble or not, life is a gamble. Just do what you do. And as far as how we run this channel, we run it how we want it. And if we want somebody to come up, they come up. That's it. Now, none of that hurt nobody. So all this, well, you friends with this and you friends with that. Now, I'm not going to disrespect nobody and have somebody up to disrespect somebody who's not there. You know what I mean? Like, that's different. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. People got their feelings, and I respect that. So that's why I'm not going to come on here cursing.
Or walking around with hate in your heart. Like,
Right.
why would I walk around with hate in my heart for some that nobody did to me? That's crazy. I'm not about teams. I'm not in the cliques. None of that shit. I'm too old to go through that shit. So whatever. And I'm going to keep on moving. Whatever. All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Shaun Attwood, because to go on and get that out the way. Oh, so over there, you guys are a bunch of liars and schemers, and you got out schemed last night. Ronnie Bo is a current dealer. I could have told you that. Y'all don't do y'all homework over there. Maybe when you over there inventing stories or, trying to make people say salacious things, sooner or later your ass is going to get burned. That's what happened to y'all. And it's good. This is the beginning of the end. All right. So I'm going to go over a whole bunch of stuff in no order, because if you were on my members only, the woman called me back. She went over details with me. I didn't expect it to be that long. Also, too, I want to thank the Arizona Department of Corrections. Thank you. You didn't have to help. I appreciate that. Also, I want to show this before I get started. If anybody wants to verify my information, let me show you what to do. That's wrong. Hold on. I'm an open book over here. All you have to do is go to your Google page, type in Arizona Department of Corrections. This page is going to come up, okay? If you go down to public records, you click public records, it'll say online request application. You can demand anybody's public records, anybody's prison records, their public record. Okay, it's not that hard to do. Click on that. If you have any problems, see in the blue, the phone number, area code 602-542-5886. If you have any problems, everything that all the prison records I got today came from the Arizona Department of Corrections. Now, they run a little different than other prison systems. They like all in one. They're like all in one. And so every time I was asking for his prison records, I kept getting his jail records. Yeah. So we'll go into that in a minute. So I'm an open book. That's how you get it. Thank you, Mary. You guys are sweet. Thank you. All right, so let's get into what I found. So before I get into what I found, I'm going to read off a whole bunch of stuff that might not make sense, but I want to have you look for inconsistencies when I go into the prison record. So first, let me just go over some things that you need to know before we go into the prison record. And I'm not happy that he was in prison, but I was shocked that part is true. You were in prison, so prison's never fun. Put it that way. Also, too, before I go into it, I want you guys to know this. A lot of people that have gone to prison and come out make a lot of money opening channels and talking about their prison experiences. It's a whole genre, and I didn't even know that. Like, you got all the mobsters with channels. You've got Christina Randall, who was my favorite. She ended up going into crime, but she was in prison. Like, people love to hear about prison. We have so many documentaries here in the United States of prison, because that's a life that a lot of people don't want to lead. Well, I know I don't. I ain't trying to go to prison. So I better hear your stories than anyone else's. All right. So this says millionaire stockbroker, drug trafficker, Shaun Attwood's escape from 200-year prison sentence. He claims he was facing a 200-year prison sentence. Okay. Wanted you guys to know that. He did a National Geographic episode, and it's called Raving Arizona, where they admitted to they dramatize, add to it, make up shit. You know, no one's gonna watch a boring what do you call it? Story. So and that happens on the ID channel. Sometimes they reenact, they use actors and stuff like that, but it's usually to beef up the story, right? Okay. They admitted to that. See that right there. Also, he has a book out called Prison Time, where in his description he says a terrifying insight into prison life. After Shaun Attwood arrived at the Arizona Department of Correction, his challenges multiplied. His cellmate threatened to cave in Shaun's skull with a padlock and a sock. A naked neighbor dragged him into a cell for sex before a visit with his parents. He was attacked by a drug-crazed biker, forced to adapt or perish. Shaun made alliances with powerful prisoners. Yeah, just remember that. Just remember that. What is this? Oh, also, Sammy the Bull Gravano, the mobster guy that used to work for the Gambino family that turned state's evidence on John Gotti. He has a son. And his son was arrested and put in prison for 9 years, but he was put in what they call a supermax prison.
Yep.
Supermax. No, you're isolated 24 hours a day. When they let you go outside, you're still in a cage. This is where El Chapo is. This is where like any people that do anything against our country. I don't want to say the word, but you guys, like, maybe September 11th people.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And Perry, you stop me when you want to.
Okay.
Also, a minimum state security prison is way different than a supermax or a maximum. Okay. They say that the minimum prison is like dorm style living. They have no limited fencing perimeters. Like, you can walk off in a minimum state prison. You can just walk. Low staff to inmate ratio, work and programs. They'll let you choose a job. You get to go to school. Now, I never heard about this. I know plenty of people in prison, but I don't know any in a minimum state prison. I just don't. Okay. Yeah. And this is where a lot of white crime people go. I mean, white collar crimes. These people go. Minimum violence, inmates with less than 10 years remaining on their sentence, easy visitation. And sometimes, if you guys look down here, they call minimum security camps. They call them camps because it's nowhere near like your maximum or your supermax prisons. Just keep that in mind.
Hey, Sherelle, can you get that new member, Susan?
Oh,
we got a new member.
Thank you, Susan, for becoming a member. We appreciate it. Yes, Aphrodite. This is where white crime people go. White crime, white collar. I can't remember what they called it. Something like that. You're not a hardened criminal when you go to these minimum. So there it is.
So also, basically, the minimum prisons is like they have like pajama parties and popcorn, smoothie Tuesdays. No, I'm only saying this because, like, and I get it. A prison is a prison, a jail is a jail. But it's different levels to it.
Yeah.
And because you was in the Cub Scouts don't mean you was in the Boy Scouts. Some people fell out, go ahead.
I can't with Perry. Also, too, in Arizona, they're black in their prisons. Their black population is only 14%. Asians, 1.5. Native Americans. There's more Native Americans in an Arizona prison than it is your really tough prisons like Angola. Okay, 2.1. 2.9 Native Americans, 56.7. It's mostly white people. Okay, which is will play a part when I go over the record. Now, let's talk about one of America's toughest jails, Angola, okay, with a population of 74% African Americans. The other jails in Arizona, they don't have what we call free labor. There's no free labor over there. Angola, the true hardened prisons, they had what they used to call the chain gang. Yep. And that you did 8 hours of manual labor. They called it free labor. And this is why they laced a lot of African Americans in prison, is because they wanted free labor. That's hard time. That's hard time. If you are on what they call now the farm line, it's just a new name for the chain gang, okay? And that's mostly African Americans. Not too many people are on the farm line, okay? It becomes very racial in prison. Prison's very racist. Angola is so old that it was built in 1901. Perry, how old is that?
1901?
Oh, it's trash.
124 years.
How long?
124 years.
They complain about it. Let's see if I had that guy's. Did I record him? They complain. They say that it's inhumane. They say that the food is bad. The medical treatment is even worse. And this is true. I can vouch for this. I have family members with that are in maximum security, and my uncle got cancer, and they stopped giving him his treatments during COVID. At that time, it was stage 3. Now he's stage 4. They treat you like animals in the toughest prisons in America. And it's racial. Mm-hmm. And you can't have a friend of the opposite race. This is in prisons where they divide you up because of your race. And they take that shit serious. If you had a white friend, you better not talk to him till you get out. Angola's prisons were so bad that this year in July, they sued the state. I'm very emotional about prisons because it touches me on a personal level, because I have family that's been in prison, and they treat you like animals. Way different than a minimum security, okay? There says no free labor in the Arizona minimum security prisons. It's just not. It's real. They call it a camp, not to make light of being in prison, because you don't even have fences. You can leave. The security is different. So the Supermax, which is at the top, which is where Sammy the Bull was, right? That, Shaun claims he worked with Sammy. Maximum security. The Supermax, you're not doing nothing. You're not coming out that cell. They let you out into another cage, and they treat you like animals, and maybe you did something to deserve it. I'm not judging it, because some people don't agree with it, but they got them. Maximum, oh my gosh. This is where all of the riots take place, and you really got to be careful. Who you can get locked up with some crazy person or someone that tries to unalive you with a shoelace. Okay.
Or shank your ass.
Yeah. Oh, I wasn't putting it on the screen. Hold on. Also, this is another one of Shaun Attwood's books. He wrote it. See the guy behind him? It looks like a maximum security prison to me. I mean, guys. Yeah, it's called Hard Time. It says, after a SWAT team smashed down stock market millionaire Shaun Attwood's door. He found himself inside of Arizona's deadliest jail and locked into a brutal struggle for survival. Shaun's hopes of living the American dream turned into a nightmare of violence and chaos when he had a run-in with Sammy the Bull Gravano, an Italian mafia. Well, they say it mass emmer. I'm not going to say it. That's what he wrote on the book. It says, in jail, Shaun was forced to endure cockroaches crawling in his ears. At night, unalive rats in the food and the sound of skulls getting cracked against the toilets. He meticulously documented the conditions and smuggled out his message. Join Shaun in a harrowing voyage into the darkest recess of human existence. He called it hard times. Remember that.
Welcome to the darkness.
Welcome to the darkness. Also, too, he did a lot of public speaking about his times in America's toughest prison. His titles seem to change over the years. He went from being arrested to being a kingpin, called himself a kingpin. Now, kingpins, if you are in the United States, would be people like John Gotti. If you're Black, it would be the Black mafia family. These kingpins are people that are over massive quantities of whatever they're selling. They get it from other countries, almost like Denzel Washington in American Gangster. Mm-hmm. These are the heads of a ring. You have workers, like you're making bank. Okay, some of them are billionaires. They sell so much. These are kingpins. The guys that's in the club selling you something, he's not a kingpin. You're just a runner. They call him a runner. So, and he spoke about facing 200 years in prison. That's very important. Also, too, if you are arrested and you're going to a minimum security or medium security, you are not picked up by the SWAT team. They're not going to send a SWAT team to get a amateur dealer. They're not going to send a SWAT team. Do you guys know what SWAT is? When they come in the armored trucks and the stuff, and then they use that thing to knock down your door.
Yeah.
I'm going to read you the definition of the reasons a SWAT team is used. No, a SWAT team would typically not be deployed to arrest minimum security prisoners. Their primary function is to handle high-risk situations involving dangerous suspects, barricaded individuals, hostage situations, or other scenarios where specialty tactics and heavy weaponry are required, which is not the case with a minimum security prison who pose a low risk to the community. So, go ahead, Perry.
And I don't think they needed the SWAT team. From his own words, he said he was just in the kitchen doing something. You hear the at the door. They don't sound like SWAT. They would just knock the whole goddamn door down.
Right. SWAT does not.
I looked through the peephole, but they had covered it with their thumb. SWAT ain't got time for that. They would have knocked your shit down, in my opinion.
And this is coming from the prison. They do not send SWAT out for regular arrest. If you are John Gotti, yeah, SWAT. If they consider you high risk, SWAT. But then you're not putting to a maximum security. You're putting to a maximum or even super max. And a lot of times those are televised in the United States because it's somebody big. You did something for SWAT to come get you. So you're usually on the local news. El Chapo was on the national news. And we all remember El Chapo. The little guy this big with all of those people coming after him. He was really little.
And they don't even send SWAT out if they get a call and say armed and dangerous. Regular police go out. Regular. Armed and dangerous. And a day trader don't sound like he's armed and dangerous. Just in my opinion. So I'm saying if you're going to elaborate on your story, you know, some receipts will help you explain your story. It will also help you on your channel when you get these guests on. Just ask for some receipts. But go ahead.
Again, I really want to stress that one of the toughest prisons in the United States is Angola. It's in the state of Louisiana. They really lock up a lot of African Americans. It's a rundown prison that was built in 1901. Please keep that in mind. Do you know how rundown something would be that was built in 1901? Mostly black. And so they had to sue the state, and they're still going out on what do they call them? Not chain gangs, farm lines. They're called farm lines. Hi Sheila. Oh, hi Sheila.
What's up, Sheila?
Happy holidays, Sherelle and Perry. I can't imagine being in prison, which is why I don't do anything illegal. I don't do anything illegal. Nothing. I'm not cut for that life. Now I have family that's cut for that life, and that scared me. And I love my family. I love my family. Please don't get it wrong, because I'm always talking about the mistakes that they made and stuff like that. And I feel like they did things so I could have the life that I have today. So I'm not downing them. I'm just telling you what kind of life comes. It's a hard life. And I thank them. They walked. They are the reason I have the life that I have today, because I ain't doing shit illegal. Not a damn thing. Okay. I don't lie. I don't steal. I don't cheat.
Yeah, me neither.
Shaun always references Joe Arpaio. He was the sheriff, and you probably know who he is. He was on the show. There was a television show that used to come on MSNBC, and they would air Lockup all night long. And, he has a reputation for being racist. He also decided to put the jail people where there's no gangs and all of that. You can intermingle in jail. But he decided to put them out in the hot sun, where, it gets hot here in Vegas. It's unbearable in Arizona heat. And he also painted dyed the guy's underwears pink. He just
wait a minute.
He thought that would teach them a lesson, but mostly he was working with Jan Brewer, an ex-governor, just to expand their political careers. Now, he never had a political career because he was ousted. Okay, remember that. And I think that's it. And I just got a couple things I want to show you, and then we'll go over his records.
Online, I'm enrolled in a Spanish classes at college. I'm up early in the morning because Arizona time, New York time, stock market's open. All of a sudden, boots thudding up the stairs of the apartment. And then bang, 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 bang. So I jump up, look through the peephole, it's blacked out. I'm thinking, is it someone coming to rob me, posing as the police, who's found out, or is it really the police? Go to the window, police cars all over the place, marksmen with rifles, more boots coming up the stairs. Go through to the bedroom to my missus. What are we gonna do? Better let them in. Halfway through the living room, I'll never forget it, just boom! Wow. Just this door just flies off the hinges. Hands above your head, don't move, get on the ground now. So you see all those guns open up in front of you. Your heart my heart's speeding up. I feel the sweat coming on my heart. Just almost reliving it right now.
Now remember, SWAT never knocks on the door. They never knock on the door. He just described police arrest, but he had a whole episode where he talked about how the SWAT team came in with the armored vehicles and all of that.
At my raves, I started to notice these new kind of ecstasy dealers appearing in the scene. I'm thinking, who the hell are these guys? Where are they coming from? Where are they getting their ecstasy from? I've got a monopoly on the ecstasy market, and suddenly all these guys are stepping on my toes. That night,
Shaun.
I get a call.
Hello?
Someone called the Spaniard wanted to have a meeting with me.
So he talks about working with the Spaniards, the Spanish people, the Europeans over in Europe. It's a difference between Mexican mafia, which he said he also worked for. The stories would change. He would go from the Spaniards to the Mexican mafia, which they have in the prison system in California and Arizona. Like I said, I talked to several. No one confirmed who Shaun Attwood was. Also, too, he was in Arizona because he has family in Arizona, right, Perry?
Right. You got two. Well, according to the stories they put out there, that's all we can go off of. It's two aunts. That's how he came over and stayed there. And then he created this empire. They call it some kind of empire that he had the little drug thing in Phoenix, the Phoenix area. It was nowhere else. It wasn't in California. It was just Phoenix, where he had the raves and stuff like that. But that little clip is just telling me how dramatic things get. Like you go from being so scared when you got at the door and you had to run up to see your wife and say, "What should we do?" Right? But then now on this one, yeah, we at the club. Everybody's coming in. I see people stepping on my toes. Well, I'm waiting on the part. Are you gonna tell me what the hell you did about it? And trust me, and if you'd have did something about it, it's more than 5 years, sir, that you would have gotten. But go ahead, Sherelle.
So also, again, about the hardest thing that they had in the Maricopa jail, not prison, would be tent city, where they would keep you outside in unbearable, now that is unbearable heat. I cannot stay in the Las Vegas heat, let alone Arizona gets hotter than Las Vegas. So that part I'm going to give them. That is hard, very hard to deal with, just blazing temperatures, but they got rid of it.
Jail is closed, and now the former day room is getting new purpose.
We can house detainees in here and ultimately expand the Mosaic program.
Mosaic is a program that helps rehabilitate inmates with substance abuse disorders.
On an annual basis, about 100,000 people come through the doors of the county jail. Around 50,000 will be back within 12 months. And this is we think, a big step forward to apply true evidence-based practices to see if we can achieve outcomes that will reduce recidivism.
Right now, we're able to serve 500 in a year, and with the expansion of this space, we're going to be able to serve more people, 780, close to 800. It will transform it into a space of healing.
The Mosaic.
So they're describing Maricopa as a place of healing. It's modern, it's new, it looks nothing like Angola, where they have predominantly African-American inmates because of the free labor. They will put you in prison in Louisiana for jaywalking, and next thing you know, you're on the farm line. I had that guy, I don't know what I did with he was explaining just how racist Angola is, what it meant to be in a tough prison, how all of their stuff is old, their food is horrible, stuff like that. Now let's get into these records. So I was absolutely wrong. Shaun Attwood had been to prison. And I was thinking, well, they're not finding anything. She just automatically thought I meant maximum security prison, because that no one really calls for records for a minimum security prison. Mm-hmm. And I had been dealing with this woman for weeks. She was very nice. If you're on my members only, you heard the conversation. And I wasn't so much about being right. I wanted to be accurate, just accurate, because the story in itself is, it's a horrific story.
It makes sense though. Nobody like when people do a background or really want to find out something, you want to know the maximum people or whatever. People
Mhm.
don't call the local jail just to find out who was in the drunk tank last night. So it's two different levels. You get the drunk tank, then you got maximum security. And
Mhm.
that's why we couldn't find anything. But go ahead, Sherelle, and show them what you got, and then we can get into some other things.
Okay, so this letter is dated today, December 27th, 2024. So when I got off the phone with you guys that were on my members only, she called me right back because she said she was looking in the wrong place. All right. So here is his official charges. He has felony, money laundering, dangerous drug violations, and use of electronic drug transaction. I don't know what that means. I'm not going to
You know,
pretend to
like,
know what it
I mean, just a transaction probably over some kind of electronic computer, phone.
Cash App or something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Hmm.
Anyway, here's the list of the jails he was in. He was in Tucson, Arizona. So it's still a part, their records are all linked together. Okay. But the most important thing, which it was explained to me, is he was not in the maximum security. He was in medium security at first, then minimum security, medium, minimum.
Right.
He did not, they don't have the same problems as a maximum security prison. They let you go to school. Matter of fact, he worked as a food service worker, and then he was a education aide. These are not what they allow hardened criminals to do. Also, too, the timeline was quite weird because he said he worked with Sammy the Bull's son, who was in a Supermax for 9 years. I don't know how they communicated and how they worked together. Sammy the Bull's son was over the ring, what they consider a drug lord. They do not consider Shaun Attwood a drug lord. You were just what they call a.
Can we give him the benefit of the doubt and just say maybe he was a pen pal? He was a fan.
Also, he didn't get in a lot of trouble in prison at all.
None.
Hmm?
I said none. Really, if you look at his
Yeah.
record, you'll be proud of your kid coming home with straight A's. Nothing showing me that this guy is this hardened criminal that the stories reflect.
Right.
No mention of shanking, crapping themselves, or none of that stuff. It's like the guy went in, did what he had to do. He served 2 years in Maricopa. Then he went, they checked him in, and then he did 3 more years. But he was in there on a 9.5-year sentence. And
Yeah.
it's not 9.5, it's 9 up in that area, people. But
Yeah, he kept.
a person would had to have been on their best behavior or whatever to get out in 5 years. Because he got out in 2007 where they deported him. So he went in 2002, not early, late that year, and then got out in 2007 where he got deported back. So all these years, a man that was facing 200 years, to me, I could be wrong, but I would need to see some kind of proof. I've been looking for it to show me how he can get that breaking down to you only doing 5 years. It just didn't make sense. And the stories that he talked about while he was in jail, he used to keep a diary. He used to write, he had a journal that he would some kind of way smuggle it out to his aunts or family members or whatnot when they come and visit. So he would keep this thing. And then his father over in England would publish it. And he published this site called John's Jail Journal. And what it was, and it started to grow and everything, but he did it anonymously because he said he didn't want. That's when he actually started doing it when he was at Maricopa, and he didn't like the living conditions. So he went through 2 years documenting how bad conditions was, leaking it to the outside. But what was ironic for me, if you was in the most dangerous jail, why didn't we get no mentions of all this stuff we getting in your documentaries and your books? How come none of that was written when you was talking about health conditions. And let's keep it real. You talked about that the whole time, and you was an advocate for a clean jail cell, right? You didn't want no roaches and none of that stuff. So you was an advocate for that. Then when you went to prison, you was a cook. Okay. So did good. You had some kind of educational thing where you educated people. So you don't sound like this thug. That's how you got out, and then they just deported you back. In my opinion, if I'm wrong, I'm sure you'll feel free to send us the right information on how you met all these thugs and prove some of the things you're saying. Because if we wasn't in that prison, how would we know that if your story is true or not?
Perry, you sent me a copy of the journal. I don't see it.
Well, it was let me see.
Can you send it to me again?
Okay, let me find it. It said, oh, talking about the thing where they're talking about the UK blogger takes toughest thing. Okay, yeah, let me send you this.
Sorry, you guys. I just wanted to put it on the screen while Perry's talking about it. I mean, it really wasn't a lot of reasons to lie. I mean, the story was bad enough. Anytime you go to jail, even if it's a minimum security, no one wants to be there, but you didn't have to make it what it was. What it wasn't is what, it sounds like. In the biggest part for me that was offensive is that there are hardened criminals out there that live in maximum security prisons. There are prisoners out there that live in supermax jails.
Right.
It's a slap in the, go ahead.
And they in there for a reason too. So now, you notice he never mentioned a supermax because you ain't did nothing to get your ass there. That's why you was sitting there playing poker, spades, and going to the canteen, getting something to eat or wherever you want to call it. But you wasn't built like that, Shaun. That's how you got released. Because if you'd went in there and raised hell, like you want to say in all these novels, why is it that you and Jack always around all the mess, but you ain't never part of it? Because you write these books on all the can that was going on, all this in the prison, but you didn't have your hands on it. Because most people, when they have a sentence and they get caught guilty for something like that, they extend their time. They don't let you out early unless you just was a professional snitch. So I don't know if that to be true or not, but I'm just saying.
Smart guy who's from the UK says, you may be interested to know that in the UK, you can't find out anything on anyone. Oh, that makes sense. So I can say whatever I want, but not here in the United States. Everything's a matter of record. Personal records aren't public records due to data protection laws. Well, there you go. There you go. It just didn't make sense. But, I know why he elaborated, because you can make a lot of money, lot of money. Also, here is the thing that Perry was talking about is that.
And this is dated, what was it, October 26, 2004.
October
so 2 years,
2004.
Probably a year and a half to 2 years when he was in Maricopa jail. He ain't even made it to prison yet. And you see what they're saying, blogger. Then he keeps going on because at the time, basically he was just an inmate, but he was blogging all this stuff about the health conditions in the prison, how the food was unsanitary, all this, rats, roaches, but nothing about all the stuff he write in his documentary. But he said he's supposed to be in the most dangerous jail in the world. And that's what you sitting there talking about the damn weather. I'm just saying, go ahead, Sherelle.
Look at this. It says Sheriff Joe Arpaio forces inmates to wear pink underpants, put women in chain gangs. They don't have chain gangs anymore. They call them farm lines, and they don't have them in the state of Arizona. And brags that it costs more to feed the guard dogs than the prisoners he oversees. No surprise then that he is often called America's toughest sheriff. He was a joke. Judge Arpaio was a joke. He had a huge appetite for fame. He loved being on lockup. He, I don't know. He was out there. And I really do believe he wanted a career in politics, but they voted him out. And Perry has a point. How come you don't list any of the stuff that was bothering you that you talked about on your shows and interviews and stuff like that? You didn't list them here. You
No,
just talked about,
it's all of it was living conditions.
yeah.
And but they
Anyway,
had the thing, like it was called John's jail journal. But like I said, I give him benefit of the doubt. Even I go back to even when he want to call himself a kingpin, because sometimes people just make up a name for yourself and you just respect it. If you want to be known as a kingpin, we call you that. Some people like to be called a pimp with no hose, but we still let you run with the title.
so and also, so there you go, you guys. There it is. I'm going to put it on the screen one more time. I will let you screen record it because hell, I share. Okay, I share. So let me put this on the screen. And I will go slow. So if anybody wants to use this material, you can. Here we go. Oh no, it's one of these.
And just for the record, like, you can check out the journal. It might be still there. But so it had built up. It got really big. And then people with different prisons would be writing in, chatting. Because you had this jail fighter that was fighting for cleanness. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was fighting for like a better prison system while he was in there. So everybody could have loved him. But then when you got out, now you got to switch the story up. Now you got to talk about, because that don't sell. Hey, I thought we got our first mop in Maricopa. Nobody give a damn when you get the first mop. But if you go in and say, yeah, I walked in and they said, listen, boy, you can't be on a yard with them people. And I went in there and I had to hook up with the Nazis and did this. And sometimes we had to go on a can spree. Now, nothing. And he wrote through his whole time in prison.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing came out about these things that now he's writing in documentaries and books.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, he went from a day trader to into drugs. When he went to jail, he became a writer. Writers do. Like when they write that fiction stuff, they just go on and on. And then the first book, the second book got to outdo the first book, third book. Then you become this super liar, just in my opinion, Shaun. No disrespect. All this could be true. I just don't see evidence. I've been looking. I don't see nothing that can justify how you really you was facing 200 years. I think if anybody reported that, it's because you could have told them that. But I'm sure if anybody got the legal documents and was facing this, that you would have them. So feel free to share.
That's really funny too, because they really tried to talk to a real life dealer, and Ronnie Bo reached out to me and asked to come on my channel. And I said, no, thanks. Number one is you don't want to get tied up with not fakers, real life dealers. You get mixed up in them kind of people, they'll never stop coming. So I said, no. Number two, the story was like lukewarm. Y'all gonna play yourself out until you just get the bad reputation. Let's move on to Jag really quick. Okay, so remember I was telling you guys that Jaguar will never work in will never appear on mainstream TV again, because there was a group of bloggers that were making sure that happened. Jaguar Wright is basically labeled a liar. And one of the journalists was Toure. His name is Toure. He's a journalist. Came out against Jag. He called her a liar. He said that her fans are more like cult members. I gotta find this. He said they're like cult members because they want to believe in what she's saying. They rather hear the lie than the truth. Let me see.
It was a true read. It was good. You get to find it. It was definitely true and 110% accurate.
This might be it. This might be it. Let me see if this is it.
Bonji. Yeah, you right, Bonji.
Jaguar Wright is not getting her flowers as a very talented cult leader. Your girl is better at trolling than she ever was at singing. I just did a whole Substack about her, talking about how she's a very talented cult leader, leading her following through Instagram, preaching at them like a fire and brimstone Baptist preacher about the evils of Jay-Z and Beyonce and other black celebrities. Of course, in her stories, she's not just the preacher, she is the savior. She is the one who will save these oppressed young people from these horrible, evil black celebrities. She's literally Queen Save-A-Ho, rescuing people from the freak-offs, walking them out of these nasty parties. I wrote about how and why Jaguar's stories work, and how part of it is that the Illuminati is like an assumed presence in her stories. Like when you watch a mob movie, they assume you understand the history of the mob. When you listen to Jaguar stories, she assumes that you assume the presence of the Illuminati. She's telling you stories about what the Illuminati does in their playtime. If you can believe that there's a shadowy group of rich black people who are controlling part of the world, then here comes Jaguar, ready to feed your beliefs with racy fan fiction about what the Illuminati do in their off time. But perhaps more than that, Jaguar helps her fans feel morally superior to rich black celebrities. Check my Substack for the whole story.
And the whole story is, listen, I think most people know by now that Jaguar Wright lies. The reason that I wanted to find the truth about Jaguar Wright so bad is because some people just love the story. Like, we know it's a lie. We like the way she lies, and it's entertaining. That's one thing. But then when you start accusing people of ironing you, then that's a whole nother story. So yesterday I did a video about her coming out and changing her story. Now she's saying Jay-Z never R'd me. That was someone else. Also, too, I didn't even bother to do this because it was very offensive. She was asked what was her response to Toure saying these things about him, and she called him the F word. She said he's nothing but the F word.
Like twice, yep.
Like, how old are you, Jag? You just got caught, and that's all you can say. Listen, she will never appear on mainstream television again. She also has 2 warrants out for her arrest. You know, one day you're going to wake up, Jag, and playtime's going to be over. The problem with it is that you're confusing these court cases with these lies because people believe you and they think, oh, you know, she's our hero, she's our savior. No, she's just trying to make money. Let me see if I can play this. Hold on. That, which is sad. That's sad to me. But you know, some people don't care about the lie. It's about I'm bored and let me be entertained. And so that's what they do. But
Terrell, did you catch Bonji's super chat?
No, I
think
missed it.
Okay.
Thank you, Bonji. Bonji says she's like a pimp with 0 hoes. Okay, great book. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. Let me play this really quick because I know people wanted to respond to it. And what's going on now is that Shaun Attwood keeps mass flagging my channel. I haven't done anything about it, but now I will. So that's why I didn't want everyone mass flagging this chat. Let me play Jag's response from yesterday.
Me directly himself. That's not
part.
Actual story in the name of the that actually done what he done. I clarified it that though Mr. Carter has done things to me, he did not do that thing to me directly himself. That's not a backpedal. That's a clarification.
Let me play
That's being caught in a lie.
She said he did that to her. Yeah, Jag, you had to backpedal. Stop lying, Jag. You had to backpedal. Here we go. See, R'd her.
I know what it feels like to be strapped to a bed
When a man put a gun in your head and tell you sing, or he's gonna blow your brains out while he's raping you. That's what Shaun Carter done to me.
There you go. She said that's what Shaun Carter did to me. So now you're backpedaling, saying, I didn't say it was him. It was somebody else. It was a guy named Trevor Green. The point is that being art is so traumatic. It damages you. It damages you. You are never the same. You're put on a different path in life, and you got this burden that you carry with you. PTSD, the whole works. But that can be the opposite same for if you lie on people. You accuse me of this, and now I feel like everybody's looking at me like I did this. One more time.
Actual story in the name of the that actually done what he done. I clarified it that though Mr. Carter has done things to me, he did not do that thing to me directly himself. That's not a backpedal. That's a clarification.
And why did I do this? Because the allegations were so severe, and I just got a feeling like, Jag, you're lying. So now, listen, the truth's out there. If you still want to believe that Jay-Z art her, that's on you. If you still want to support that kind of liar, that's on you. But the truth is out there, and it's a bad one. Like, you can't go around lying on people, making shit up in the name of money. Just can't do it.
Yeah. And see, Jag knows she's lying. But my question for Jag, say you just clarified it that he didn't do that to you, but he did these other things. Why aren't you pursuing justice for the things that he's done to you? You always want to just push things off. When that lie don't work, let me change it. But how can you be somebody's savior, or all these probably true victims out there, and be their spokesman when you're afraid to seek justice? Or are you only simply afraid to seek justice because you know you're lying? So don't act like you this brave woman, and then you want to be savior, and so is Shaun Attwood, in my opinion. And why ain't he saving people in England from pedos? Why is his ass over here just worried about the blacks? Only because black media is selling right now. That's my opinion why he's doing it. And he get these black people on to come and say things that he want to say, but it just comes out better if he can pay a black to say it. And you, in this world, Jack can just hang it up. You will always have these kind of sellouts. Always.
Yeah, it's devastating. I mean, I even played a clip of her son and how damaged he was from her parenting, and a lot of people blamed him. So people want to be in denial, but at least we know we told the truth. All right. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is this Jay-Z thing, because Jay-Z's got a lot going on. He don't need Jag over there lying, going crazy, because he's got his own stuff to deal with. And one of the things that he has to deal with is this illegitimate child of his. What is his last name? I can't pronounce it. Rakim is his name.
Well, no, it's
Ramir. It's a funky Satterwaits. That's his name. Okay, so he went public a couple days ago saying that he's never going to stop trying to get Jay-Z to take a DNA test because his mother told him that Jay-Z was his father. And the reason why he wanted no parts of it is because the mom was 15, 16 at the time. This is what he's saying, Ramir. And Jay-Z, people are saying, you're in your 30s. What are you looking for? Back child support? Move on. Some people are saying move on. Other people are saying never stop, Ramir. Make this man responsible and accountable. If he's the father, then he's the father. That is two sides of the aisle. I don't really care. I'm kind of sick of this story. It's been around for years. And so, I don't know. So I hear people say, I have a hole in my heart. I want to know who my parents are, who's my real mom, who's my real dad. Some people say that, and they carry that hole in their heart till they find out the truth. Jay-Z, take the test. That's what I would do. Take the test. Anyway, go ahead. What would you do, Perry?
Oh, I was gonna say I agree with you, right? Because I mean, on one hand, you get people, oh, he won't stop because you know what? He's looking for money. And before I go there, I don't see enough evidence that he is at this point, but that could be a strong possibility. But what would Jay-Z have to fear if he know it's not his kid? How would that lose him any money? Just show up and take the test. And sometimes, I mean, hell, Jay-Z give to charity. This is the least you can do for this man. Even if you think the man is psycho, out of his mind, free him. Just take the test. Especially if you know it's not yours. So if he took the test and it wasn't his, how would Ramir get money? It wouldn't be no money to be got. So this rumor gonna keep being out there, and people gonna keep looking at you as you avoiding responsibility. Because what if you was the father? Wouldn't you want to know? Now, I get it. Some girls, you might say, I know I didn't sleep with her for a fact, but I'm saying, can you do it for the kid? I mean, the man right now. Just do it for him. Kill this argument. You got too much other stuff going on. Why have this floating around? That's all.
So here's the picture of Ramir. People wanted to know Jay-Z has on glasses, though. He kind of looks like him. I'm not going to lie. This is the mother at the bottom. She's no longer with us. She passed away. And Ramir, I don't think he's doing it for money or clout. I think he wants to know. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. And I don't think there's any right answer here. People feel how they feel, and it is what it is. And so he's taking Jay-Z back to court for a DNA test. It is what it is. Take the test, Jay-Z. If you ask me, take the test.
And really, if his mother not being here, and now you don't have a father neither, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, if the guy,
I would take the test.
If the guy is like Legina Gold got more response. I'm just saying, if it's not his, Jay-Z, just take it. That way, just clean the table. Ain't nobody asking you to spend $1 million. A DNA test, I ain't gonna count his pockets, but I'm sure he can pay for that and be okay. I mean, just to stop the rumors.
She said, Susan said, statute of limitations is passed on statutory. Yeah. Right. So that's why I think he just wants to know. He just wants to give him the gift, let him know this was before Beyonce. Jay-Z, please take that test. Just take the test.
Yeah, just say you get drunk that night or something.
All right, you guys, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to, in my comment section, because I've been mass flagged, I'm going to hold all the comments, screenshot them, and send them to YouTube. Shaun has had his channel taken down before for this same mess. He always tries to get people's channel taken down if you talk about his prison record. So not this time. Not this time. I'm tired of playing the games. I asked you to stop mass flagging. You wanted to keep doing it. You wanted to run my name through the mud. And now it stops here. It stops here. I will screenshot all the messages showing that I've been mass flagged, showing where you told them to go over and show her what happens. This is what he said. I got it on tape. Go over there and show her what happens when you go down that road. You just mass flagged me, sir. I never did that to you. I never told anybody in my chat, go over there and show them what happens when you mess with Sherelle. I'm not afraid of you, sir. Prison records are public records. They went over and beyond. They explained things to me. They went through the maximum and minimum and the supermax, and I really am grateful. Thank you so much. I will go back on maybe tomorrow and give you some more details and let you listen to the phone calls. None of this was made up. This is what he had videos about. He was on Lock Up Abroad, and and then the inconsistencies. But you know what? That doesn't mean you have to stop being a fan. But no, Sounds like some exaggerations are going on here. And the reason that a person would exaggerate is for money. It's a whole community of inmates telling their
And we
stories.
feel like we can give our opinion because look, he can just simply look. Shaun the only one know the truth. We just speculating. Like Jay-Z know the truth. Did he know the truth? But they constantly throwing them out there, and he got that weird ass psychic on there that don't know shit. In my opinion,
let's go for you say so.
Okay.
All right, you guys. Thank you. We will return back to open chat, but today I just didn't have time for the nonsense. On 3, Harry, please take us out. Fuck this shit, people. We're out, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye.